Hi, this is David Pate, and I'm presenting the Team 5 design project. I'm just going to a little bit of the milestone 0 and 1. Our story is about Roger, who is our direct user. Um, he notices that the gravity on the home planet is very different from Earth, and so this causes some implications with his muscles and his bone density. He won't be able to realize his own strength, and he'll need to be able to work out constantly whenever he's here on Earth, kind of like the NASA astronauts when they're in space. So whenever he returns home, he won't have issues arising with his own body strength. This is the problem. So Roger needs something to expel his extra energy, and then obviously living in the human world with less gravity, um, it also poses a lot of problems. We're thinking of something that will help him control his own body because he's going to be a lot stronger than everyone else, while also helping him work out. So the stakeholders, we have the aliens, the humans, especially the professors, the students, and civilians, because they're the ones that are really going to be benefiting from this, because they're going to be less distracted and less hostile towards the aliens whenever they can develop more personal relationships with them as well. Obviously, the manufacturers of the product, we know that the product will be something physical. And then Purdue University and the people like custodians and who do maintenance work on uh, Purdue's buildings, they will be stakeholders as well because they might have to fix some problems with because of alien strength. We believe aliens can probably break a lot of things whenever they're a lot stronger than us. So uh, Purdue University and the custodians and maintenance people will probably be stakeholders. These are our criteria for success. We want it to be portable, we want it to be simple, quiet, small, and not distractive. So this is just a recap of the first video, but these are the 5 things that are really most important. The complexity, we know that it's really complex because obviously gravity can't be shifted and can't be different for each and every person on one planet. We can't change the laws of physics. So we need to create an easy way for them to integrate into our society without affecting how we currently function. So then you have our must-haves, and it must be easy to use for the alien. So this means it doesn't take any longer than 5 minutes to get ready, so that's our quantitative must-have. It also must last the length of the alien's stay, so that's probably going to be durable for about a year. And then it also must be adjustable from alien to alien to allow the right fit. So sizes will have to adapt. And then you have the most obvious, which is reusability and recyclable. Every single material needs to be able to be used again or recycled in any way, shape, or form. So that is how we are going to define our must-haves. So going into milestone 2, we have our idea concept generation. The first one we did was the morphological matrices. We actually did 3. The first was morphological matrices, which is what you see here. The second was our mind map, and then the third was brainstorming, which we have on our document. The first 2 is the one that is shown in the PowerPoint. But here you have our subfunctions on the left in the left column, and then you have the means on the right. And this really just explains what how we're going to accomplish each task or which task we want to accomplish. So obviously each one uh, helps with the problem, and it addresses the need in the way that the aliens' bodies will be in the current state of fitness that they have always been. So we're going to talk about mimicking resistance with bands. We also mimic resistance with weights. And then we also mimic exercise with medicine and also muscle flexion with electrical impulse. So these 4 categories are really important in our mind map, which is next. But then we also made a mind map, and this is really, I think, explains it a lot better because we divided it into 4 different categories. The first is medicine, resistance with weights, resistance with bands, and then electrical impulse. And so those are our 4 main ideas, and then you have some subcategories for each one that really explains each case. Then you have idea concepts. So we looked at each one and we tried to determine if each one was valid by coming up with our own story and seeing how just seeing how useful each idea would be in the workplace and in the school environment. The first one we looked at was pads and wires to a central control box. This is decently feasible. However, um, one of the one of the problems with it is the fact that you're going to have to be recharging a lot over and over and again, and that can cause some problems if you're out for a long time. The other one is pads and wires with batteries spread out. This was a good idea as well, but the problem with that is sometimes whenever you have a control boxes that are separate and not all at once, then sometimes you might have problems with some pads going off, creating an impulse at one point, and then some. So we think this is less obvious than the first one. So we would rather go with the first one for this. But then on the top right, we have the wearable material with built-in bands for resistance. So this is some kind of suit with bands on the inside of it that provide resistance for each joint movement. And we think this is extremely useful, and we really think this is feasible. The one on the bottom right is surgical bands in muscle tissue. This is not feasible because we are not surgeons, and it would be way too difficult. We can't have each of one, and it would also be very expensive. We can't have each alien going under the knife in each case. Then on the top left, we have resistance bands attached to moving weights on the floor. This is probably the most unfeasible idea because it would be really bulky and it doesn't really satisfy um, any of our ideas that we've come up with for um, a good product. Then we also have on the bottom left built-in weights to a shirt and pants design. So they're gonna put on some type of costume or some type of shirt and pants that has built-in weights, and these weights can be in pockets, or they can with Velcro, or they can be like. The hope is that they're going to be really small, so it's movable. Then to the right, we have our two medical procedures, and this would be muscle relaxers, because we want them to be relaxed while they're in class, and then we also want some type of muscle steroid, so we want their current level of fitness, one that's healthy for the aliens and not detrimental like human steroids are. Those are obviously the least feasible because those are not anywhere near completion, and that would take way too long. So our final solution would be these two. We narrowed it down to two. The first one is wearable material with built-in bands for resistance, and the second is built-in weights to a shirt and pants design. Obviously, the weights are going to be really, really small, so it's movable, and then the bands will be built into the suit. So either way, we're going to have to design a suit. And with that, I conclude Milestone 2. Thank you.